That looks pretty good.
I don't care if it's cleaning the floor or cooking a meal or paying the bills. We're all doing something to help them get on their feet.
In a nutshell, I would say the Good Samaritan Home is an affordable housing model that is unique to the city of Boise.
It means that there's a place for people to live who do not have the money to live in other places.
It's a blessing to me, and I tip my hat to everybody that's involved here.
So the Good Samaritan Home serves adults that range from over the age of 18 to, I believe our oldest resident is 89. Anybody and everybody. So we have veterans, we have seniors, we have adults with disabilities, we have anyone and everyone.
And she told me at the time, she said, we're a little place out on State Street that nobody's heard of, and if you're looking for a spotlight, you're looking at the wrong organization. It's a kind of low-key, under-the-radar kind of a place that takes care of a lot of people, and 30 years later, we're still taking care of 45-plus people. So.
Number one, it's important for the residents. And what I mean by that is they're going through a lot. There's different circumstances, and people come here sometimes broken or just trying to get a new beginning. And same with people that work here, like myself.
So in 1942, a gentleman named Robert Wing owned a little property off of State Street, and he was in the hospital sick, and when he left the hospital, he realized that his suite mate had nowhere to go.
Came back from that experience, he thought, how in the world do other people get along without some kind of assistance? I mean, it just occurred to him, and he started the Good Sam Home.
And so he started a little boarding house model for his friend that was in the hospital, and it just grew from there.
And the men lived in the barn, and the women lived upstairs at the Good Sam at that time. So
I've lived everywhere from one end to the other. McCall, Kuski, Kamei, everywhere. Idaho Falls. And one day, going down State Street, I saw this place. And I told myself, one of these days, I'm gonna go back there and live when I retire. Here I am. That's how it happened.
One of the biggest assets in having Good Samaritan Home is that it does fill a gap for our veterans that have provided a service to our country and need a little extra help.
Good Samaritan Home makes our work possible because we can't keep people housed if we have nowhere to keep them housed. We need affordable housing options, and they're one of the most important partners there. So.
St. Alphonsus is committed to a platform of housing as healthcare. We believe that if people aren't housed first, that it's going to be darn near impossible for them to address any of their health issues or health outcomes. Partnering with Good Samaritan Home is really important to us because they provide a really unique housing solution in the Boise area, which has been one of the fastest growing housing markets, and we've seen the most number of patients suffering acutely from housing issues in this region. So it's not just a roof over their heads, though it is a really beautiful, dignified place to live, but it's also about providing the food and the comfort of having people around you and that social connection, and having resources and people to help you connect to the other needs or services that you might have in the community. So for us, it's a win-win because we're not just thinking about the individual and the patient, we're thinking about the whole person, and Good Samaritan is a good partner in doing that alongside us.
All of their residents are vulnerable, low-income residents in the community and would not be able to afford to live here otherwise. And a lot of them too need that more wraparound support that other housing providers or places cannot provide.
On October 13th, we're gonna celebrate our 80th birthday this year. 80 years in service.
Yeah. You know, this 80th anniversary shows and proves that Good Samaritan Home has had a special place in our community for quite a while. And I really look forward to seeing what they do in the next 80 years.
Serving more people is really on the docket for us. We really need to increase our service model because 45 people is a lot of people to serve. But I imagine our impact is much bigger than that. We can serve so many more, and I intend to do that.
You know, we've added on, we've plugged in sprinkler systems, we've changed the wiring around because of more requirements for electricity. And
I think for us, knowing that the growth is coming for our community, it's better to be prepared than underprepared. And so for me, I envision a huge building with 3 stories that houses at least 126 people.
And the residents who live here need more things too, expanded kitchen facilities and other services, other amenities, the ability to have their own bathrooms in their own units and things like that. So it's really important for us to continue to take this amazing historical model of housing and provide even more reverent, individualized, and accessible housing for more people into the future.
We should support organizations like the Good Samaritan Home because it is a holistic approach where we focus on not only the needs of the individual, but we focus on how we can help support them in a really unique way. There is no prescribed model to help the homeless population. There's only people that need help. And in doing so, we know that we've been doing it the best way possible, which is providing a place to call home, 3 meals a day, and support services when they're ready.
come down and have a meal with us, and you'll just look around the dining room and you'll see the faces of what we do, and it makes all the difference.
I think it is a blessing to every one of us. And I think it is a blessing for anyone that comes by and has the same concept in his mind, in his heart, to find a peaceful place to spend the rest of his life. That's how I think about things. Coming here for me was, it's just about going to be my last hurrah. And I'm comfortable and I'm happy.
We can make it special because it's small. We can make it like a real home and not just an institution or an apartment building, or we can give them a place to feel safe, have 3 meals a day.
I always really appreciate getting to come to the Good Samaritan Home because it really does feel like home. You literally walk into the living room where people are often convening and telling stories about their day. We feel like we get to be part of the family and part of the folks here, and they always express to us the deep gratitude that they have for the staff, for the care they receive, and for the ability to have a really nice place to call home that's really close to other services that they really need.
So I would just like to do more for the home and the people that are here. When you see them, say how excited they are to see me when I come down. They're just so happy to see me, and I'm happy to see them.